Well, good morning, everybody, and I trust that you are well this morning. We're reading Joshua together as a church, and Ben, one of our elders, is going to share some lessons that he has learned.
Well, hello everyone. It's been good, isn't it, this last month to read the book of Joshua together, and over the last week or so to share with other members of Mount what God's been saying to us through this book of Joshua. And I think as I read Joshua and listened to a lot of the feedback from the different groups, and especially the children's groups, they're really struck by how many victories Joshua and the Israelites had, and how they seem to go on this journey and taste victory one after the other. And in Joshua 12, it tells us, doesn't it, that 31 kings in all were defeated. And you really get that sense, don't you, that nothing would stand in the way of Jesus and his people and his church in reaching that promised land and that eternity. And it's quite incredible that he went from one king to the other and defeated them all and took over their land and was victorious in that. And it's quite clear through the book, isn't it, that Joshua and the people of Israel looked to Jesus. And when they did, they won. And when they looked to Jesus, they were successful in the battles that they faced, which is incredible, isn't it? But there is one chapter, and that's Joshua 7, where there was sin. There was sin in the camp, and they tasted defeat. And it hurt them, and it hit them so hard that you read about Joshua lying down on the floor on his knees and inquiring of the Lord and saying, why have you brought us this far to taste defeat against this king and this people? And the answer that he gets back is clearly that, look, there's sin. You've turned away from me. You've turned away from Jesus. You've looked to other things, and you've disobeyed my commands. And the result of that, isn't it, that they taste defeat. Now, God is very gracious, as he is with all of us, and they march on, and it doesn't stop them, and they taste victories, again, many of them after that. But it shows how serious sin in the church and in our lives as individuals is, doesn't it? That even when life seems really good and we're going through really good times and we seem to be winning in our fight against the devil and the lies that he tells us, sin is just around the corner, isn't it? It's so easy for us to fall, and then when we fall, we often fall spectacularly and taste that defeat in our lives. And it really feels like we taste defeat, doesn't it, when sin is there? Well, whatever you face now and the rest of this month, and as we carry on this week, looking at the book of Joshua, we need to remember, don't we, that Jesus is with us, that whatever battles we face, whatever the kings are, if you like, that come across our paths, perhaps in work or at home or in school, if some of you are going back to school this week, that Jesus gives us victory if we look to him. Jesus gives us more victories than we probably would ever imagine that he could or would or definitely should. He gives us more victories, but only when we look to him. And it's clear in the book of Joshua how they make sure that they are looking to Jesus. It tells us in Joshua 8, towards the end, that Joshua read all of the words of the law to the people, to the men, the women, the children, to the babies, I'm sure, and he read it all. He made sure that their focus was on what God had said to them and what Jesus had said to them. So they were looking to him for their help. And it says as well, right at the beginning of Joshua, in Joshua 1, verse 8, keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it, that you will be prosperous and successful. Now, whatever we face, if we want to taste victories, then we've got to listen to Jesus, and we've got to hear his voice. And the way to do that is by doing RBTs, by reading the Bible. Reading it together is amazing. It's so helpful. But reading the Bible, reading about Jesus, reminding ourselves of the promises and our need to look to him. And if we do, then just like Joshua and his church, we will be victorious and we will taste those victories. We need to be careful though. We need to take that warning that sin is a real problem. And if we want to taste the victories, then we need to deal with sin in our lives. So perhaps today, when you get 5 minutes, have a think. Is there sin in our lives? Is there sin that we committed ourselves or to other people, to other members, that we need to ask Jesus to forgive us for? And then let's look to him. Let's look to him. Let's read his word and taste those victories over the devil's lies and the devil's schemes as we, just like that church, march towards eternity with Jesus. Have a great day today, and enjoy the rest of this month as we reflect on the book of Joshua together.